Hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna now continue on with the e-vader controller as I'm trying to keep these videos short. Now we're gonna get to all of these little plugs and connectors and actually connect all of them. Hopefully they will line up with what the stock wiring harness that we have on the e-vader. If not, I'm gonna have to do some digging around. But off the bat, I already know that these red plugs are going to be for the alarm system. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab those and put those off to the side. I'm going to try to keep those two cables together as best as I can. So at this point, we're just going to, like I said, we're going to grab each cable and just start connecting. All right, so we already have our main one that's going to go to the motor. So we're going to go ahead and grab this one. Grab the stock one, which is right here, and we're going to go ahead and unplug it. So just push the little pin down here, push it and release it. So now that it's released, you can see it's pretty much the same. All the cables should be around the same, or it's actually going to the controller. So I'm gonna grab this one and we're gonna attach this one. Let's see, we'll probably maybe route it underneath. Okay, so just go ahead and attach this and then wait for it to click. Oh, there we go, I heard it click. All right, so now that that's on there, so next we're going to grab some other cables. So let's see what else we got over here. We also have our Bluetooth controller or Bluetooth module over here. So we have to look for the one that's like a little block like this. Okay, so apparently this tag is giving you a warning not to connect this to high voltage because it could burn the whole cable system down. So this would have to be the Bluetooth port. Okay, so again, just going to go ahead and connect this. Go ahead and put this in through there, and then it clicked right away. Okay, so now that we have our Bluetooth connected, that's out of the way. All right, so now we're just going to continue going on through all of the cabling and pulling out one and attaching the other. Now this is going to be our Bluetooth for our old one. We're just going to keep it together. I did attach the cable, so in case whoever gets this controller doesn't want the Bluetooth, they could use the little cable to connect it and close off that port. And as I'm going through them and putting them off to the side, I'm just putting the cables down. And then on the last part, we're gonna connect these. That's gonna go to the top part of the controller. All right, so this one has a black, a green with a white stripe, and a red with a white stripe. Would be this guy, which is inside here. This it's only a solid black, no stripe. This one has a black with a stripe, but a green with the stripe and a red with stripe, which matches this guy. This one goes to that one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this one. We're gonna go ahead and plug this one to this one. Make sure, let's grab this one again and make sure that everything is gonna line up, because we definitely don't want it. So black to black, green to green, red to red. Apparently on this one, it is going to opposite, so we may have to pull the pins out and wire this the correct way. We have to swap out the red and put the black. So the red and black are in the wrong spot. And yeah, so because right now far driver to stock, far driver is red, stock is black. On the far driver it's black, and then the stock it's red. So this is like it's not that well, let me show you guys, because right now you could see that obviously the cables have to be taken out. So I will be taking out the black and the red and then swapping them over so they could be the right way. So I have the bike propped up on the stand right here, and let me show you what happens when you have it connected this way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, along with some other updates I need to tell you guys about. But let me go ahead and turn it on, and you could see what happens. It's going to beep until we program the controller with the motor, but you can see it just shows the number 2 right now, and if I give it throttle, nothing happens. And some numbers are changing there, but nothing's going on. So we know that everything's crossed, because once I hit the kill switch, this is what happens. The wheel starts turning. So we know we don't want it to turn when we hit this. We want it to turn when it hits the throttle. So you could hear it. And obviously the speedometer is not working. So there's some cables that need to be adjusted. And yeah, so that's that. Okay, I'm gonna try to do the best I can on showing you the tool that I'll be using. So the tool I'll be using is something like this. And again, I'll have a link down below about these particular tools. It comes in a whole key set and a whole bunch anyway. So this special tool will actually get in here, and all we're doing is we're going to be pushing a pin inside of this connector to get the connector out. So you can see I already did it for the black and I got it for the red. So now all we're going to do now is we're going to remove the red, and you can see there's a very tiny little pin right here. Now we're going to go ahead and reset it, get this, and then just move it up a little bit. Hopefully it's coming across on the camera. Okay, just move it up just a tad bit just to get it up, and that's going to reset it now. So now that this pin is reset, now we can go ahead and put it to the other side. Again, we're going to move this black one. All we're doing is we're just swapping the cables. Okay, so now the where the black was, now the red's going to go. Just going to go ahead and slide this in. So get it to focus a little bit better. Okay, hopefully that's good enough. Okay, so now we're going to slide it in until we hear it click. Okay, so now that one clicked. I'm going to get the black one, and again we're just going to use the same tool. We're going to get this little lip right here, and we're just going to reset that one as well, because that's what we're doing when we're pushing this pin in. We're pretty much pushing this pin down so that way this part could slide out. Now that we did that, we're just going to get this. We're not going to crazy bend it all the way up. We just need it a little bit upwards, that's all, just to get it to snap back into place. I'd say that's good about there. Okay, let me go ahead and grab the cable, and then we're going to go ahead and slide the black cable here. Okay, there you go. That's all there is to it. That's why having something like this when doing cables like this make it so much easier on working on these type of things, and that's how we're able to actually get these pins out without snipping any cables or damaging anything, and working on this type of thing. All right, so now when we connect everything back, now everything should be lined up perfectly. So let me go ahead and slide this in. All right, okay, get that thing up there. So now you could see red to red, green to green, black to black. Alrighty guys, while I try to figure out more about the wiring and everything, I figure I might as well start getting to these main cables. Now in order to get access to getting this cover off, there's a little bit of a slit right here. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my screwdriver and just kind of pop this cap open. Alright, there's no need for any electricity there, so just get it in there, pop it open, and it should come out. I am going to put some electrical tape over the positive because I really don't want to get shocked. Gonna go ahead and pop this guy out. We have to do the screwdriver thing on the other side, and luckily on the other side is actually the negative, so I'm gonna do that, and then just gonna go ahead and pop this cover off. Alright, so I was able to get the cover off. As you can see, now all the terminals are exposed, as you can see. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, which is gonna be the most easiest, will be to get the blue, yellow, and green cables. Obviously this side is going to the controller, the old one, and this one is going towards the bike. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew these and attach the blue, yellow, and green. Of course, we're going to be going toward the corresponding spots up here, which you got blue, yellow, and green. So I'm going to go ahead and install those, and you're going to be using the supplied bolts that come with this, and here's a little baggie of the supplied bolts, and just screw them in. Alright, the size needed to remove from this particular section is going to be with an 8mm, and then from there to attach it to this side is going to be with a 13mm socket. Alrighty guys, a small little update. Now I came across a small problem, but don't worry, there is a fix, and as long as you take your time. As you could see, when taking these out from the stock one, obviously this is a smaller screw, and look at how big this bolt is. It's definitely not going to fit. But after drilling out the hole just a little bit bigger, and I'm almost pretty much at the edge, man, because you could actually see on how much or how little room I have left until this thing actually breaks. So I made the hole just enough. I was taking my time slowly, but now guess what? Now I'm able to fix fit the bolt right through and get it and still use the stock terminal without having to cut and recrimp. And the drill I'm using is actually a stepper drill, which looks like this. As you can see, it has steps. It goes by small to bigger. And that's why it's called a step drill. So the size that I went up to 5/16. When you're doing it, just go very slowly, little by little, as you're drilling it. And then, after you drill a little bit, check your bolt to see if it goes through. If it goes through, perfect. You got it right on the dot. And you don't want it to be too sloppy either. You want it to be pretty snug. And if you feel that the bolt's still not going through, just drill slowly and a little bit more until you get it. So now that I got it, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my terminal, put it over here, put the bolt in, and then just hand tighten it for now. Alright, so hand tighten. Now I'm going to continue on doing the same thing with the rest of these leads. Alrighty guys, as you can see, I already got them all connected right there. They're not completely super tight, they're just kind of hand tightened but a little bit loose. I figured I'd put the cables on that side. Next is going to be a little bit of an issue, but not too big of an issue because we still could fix it. We have our negative cable here and we also got our positive there. Unfortunately, these cables are so short. Obviously, we need the negative cable to reach all the way up here. You could see that that's not going to happen. So what we need to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and snip it and extend the cable to actually reach up there. I have my negative cable here, so we have plenty of roll to actually make it extend. As for the positive, I don't have this gauge cable for the positive. I believe it's probably a 6 gauge wire. So for this instance, I may have to go to the store and buy myself a 6 gauge wire so I could, match this cabling. Definitely don't want to go thinner on that, so it's okay to go fatter, but don't go any skinnier than what's already as OEM factory. Going mobile again, guys, as I'm at the bench, got my soldering iron, and in this case, I'm actually going to solder the cables as I want a for sure super secure connection, as it's actually going to some very high powered controller. I already snipped this and I already stripped this part, so I'm going to dip this into the flux core, or the flux cream, I would say, solder flux. Same thing with this cable, I already stripped it, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this into the solder paste flux. And what this does is allow the solder to actually flow through the cable a lot easier, so you're not just constantly gooping up the cable. Alright, so while I wait for this to heat up, after that I'm just going to intertwine both of these cables together, and then use the solder to put the solder. Well, here's the solder. I'm just going to use the iron to melt it all in there. So this is how the cables look like when they're intertwined. So I just pretty much made an X and then just intertwined them for that. Now I'm just going to, like I said, grab my solder right here. Kind of hard with one hand, but you kind of guys get the idea. Just put the solder and then melt it, and then it should be good. Then I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink tubing over it and shrink it. The heat shrink tubing will look like this, but over this part, if you don't have any heat shrink tubing, just put some electrical tape. Alrighty guys, I already just finished soldering it, and as you can see, it's a perfect solder. It looks really good. That's how you want it. You don't want it to be all clumpy and everything. So, alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and put the heat shrink tubing. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go ahead and splice the other end over here, and that fell on the floor. But splice the other end, and I'm going to splice the other end on the bike. Put both cables into the solder flux, get the solder, heat it up, melt it all up in there. Make sure I have the heat shrink tubing already on the tube or on the wire, and then seal everything up. Alrighty guys, I already finished soldering and everything. So here is the solder, and this is the heat shrink tubing. So this is the original spot where it came out from. Here's my extension. I have it extended going all the way through here, going through the back over here. Like I said, I kind of want all the cables kind of on that side, but the harness on this side. So I don't want all the wires on one side. I don't want it to be too cluttered. So I have the cable going through the frame, or pretty much going through here. Coming out right over here, here is the negative lead. Coming through here and up to there. Again, I had to also make the hole bigger for the terminal so I could actually get it on there. You can see everything is already looking good so far. Alright, so the only thing lastly is the positive. which, not gonna lie guys, I'm a little afraid about it just because it's such high voltage here. 72 volts. It's not something to play around with. I think I should be okay because I do have the circuit breaker on the off position, so it is cutting power from the battery to this point, so I should be okay. But I did put some electrical tape here just in case. Always good to be safe than sorry. This part, I'm guessing this is the probably ignition or to turn on the controller. As of right now, this one is going to a red cable from the stock controller, but for the far driver aftermarket controller, I don't have that particular cable. I already had to go to the store to go get some of that cable and to extend the positive. Now I already did the extension of the positive, and it's the same thing. Just cut it, splice it, intertwine the cable, and solder it, and then heat shrink tubing or electrical tape, whichever you had. I had heat shrink tubing. So anyhow, here is the positive cable here, which kind of goes in between up here, and then it just comes out right over here. So let me actually, let's go mobile. So again, positive cable extended from here, going up through here, and then just pretty much coming up to right there. So this cable didn't need to be that long, and it's a 12 gauge cable, and that's what's from the stock is 12 gauge, so I just stayed with the same gauge cabling. All right, so everything is already connected over here as far as those cables are concerned. All right guys, so that's pretty much going to conclude this portion of the video. Stay tuned for the next one.